It's me, Keeds, Keetonator, Keetatron, Keeds and Crates. I got the Keeds. Whatever you want to call me, that is me. You are watching the Sobe Pod, where we talk a little bit about the cultural differences and lots of different cultural aspects, as well as sharing the experiences of expats and travelers. Now, today we have an extra special guest. We do have Duncan in studio today, and I'm going to introduce Duncan. Duncan, if there's something that I forget, please let me know right away.
No problem.
All right.
Hey, yo,
go ahead.
Hey, yo, what it do, skis? D-U-N-C-A-N, Duncan Soul Air, baby. Always happy to show up for Miss Keys. It was such a wonderful invitation. She hit me up last night. Hey, you free? I was like, yeah, what's going down? She was like, come through. And that's how it happened. Just instantaneous.
I want to plug right here. It wasn't last night. All right. I gave him at least 48 hours. All right. So let me jump in. Thank you, Duncan. So Duncan is an actor, writer, voice actor, performing artist, editor, game developer, YouTuber, and just overall content creator. Yeah. So thank you so much, Duncan, for coming in, and welcome to the Sobe Pod.
Thank you so much. I'm very grateful for you having me.
Of
I
course.
had to fit it in with my busy schedule of doing
Oh,
a million
wow.
jobs.
Okay. Thank you so much for penciling me in a very... So actually, how did we meet? This is our first time meeting in person, but we have, I guess, been internet aware of each other. So how did we meet?
So I actually used to be romantically entangled with the co-host of the
Not the entanglement.
The entanglement.
Oh, okay.
And that's how I learned of your pod. And then I was interested in the pod. I followed you, and of course I followed the former co-host of this. And we just didn't seem to like link up at the time. I remember COVID was going crazy, so it was really hard to get schedules aligned. And then you went back to the US, and wasn't gonna like Zoom meeting, an interview. But now you're back, and it looks like the schedule is just linked up just wonderfully, just beautifully, just like that.
I don't know how honest you want me to be, because I actually think I knew you from somewhere else outside of V. I don't know how honest you want me to
be
let you know.
Honest. Honesty is the best policy.
So the first time I actually was aware of who you were was through an old coworker of mine, actually. I'm not going to call her name on the podcast. But yes, she was a coworker. It wasn't V. And she mentioned you and her had something going on, an entanglement, if you will.
Wait.
That's how I actually got aware of who you were.
I've had listen, I'm a very chaste lady. I don't know who you're talking about. Was this
You can say, I'll bleep it out.
Was this Get out!
1000%. It was.
Oh my God!
And I'm mad I even said that name, but
that person used to brag about me. Like, I want to say, like, dead ass, it is wild to me how, like, me and V, we were pretty close.
Yeah.
Like, that was a very passionate type little situation right there. But that person, we met at a show. It was my first time hooking up with a fan after the show. And you would have thought that I had put a ring on it. I was just doing girly things, you know, hashtag girly things. I was just doing girly things. And next thing I know, I hear from V how apparently I'm like two-timing V. I'm like, wait, who? With what? And then, because I'm poly, but I'm open poly. Like, I be telling people, I'll be like, hey, yo, just so you know the situation. So I was like, hey, what's going on? What's going on? Then I hear one of V's friends, one of my friends too, told V about, it was a wild situation, especially because it was literally a one-night stand. It was literally one night.
Well,
that's crazy.
I'm gonna air myself out now, because I guess this is like the red table talk, but black table. I was the person who told V. Blew up into this thing, but I'm not mad I told V, because clearly V was, one of my best friends. So I was like, this guy who I don't know, he's messing around telling everyone at school. So, okay, well, again, this is going to be a whole segment of bleeping and blurring, because I don't want anyone's names out there.
Also, for the record, girl, not guy.
Did I call?
Yeah, you said guy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, yes. Okay, so that's also going to be something I'm going to talk about right at the beginning. Duncan is non-binary.
Queer. Just queer.
But uses she, her pronouns. So I will be using she, her pronouns through the duration of this podcast.
Yeah, she's a girly
pop.
Girly
All right,
pop.
so that's how we met, through Duncan's entanglements. So moving on, Duncan, I want to know a little bit about your childhood because I literally don't know anything. So where were you born and raised?
See, that's always so fun during interviews because I like changing it up. You know, I always like having like a multiple choice. Most of the time I spent as a kid was moving around in the US. Like I lived quite a few places. Of course, Texas, the Midwest, Florida, Mexico, Cali. I lived a bunch of places, but before I came to Korea, I was in Chicago.
Okay.
And Chicago is where I graduated from as far as college goes. And then I moved around a lot, even in Chicago. I don't think I stayed in the same place more than like 2 years before I came to Korea. And even since I've been in Korea, I think the longest I've stayed in like one house has been like 2 years. Like I just get that moving bug, you know? It's just like I gotta move around.
You don't like staying in one place for too long.
I don't know, cause see, I like that feeling like when you go somewhere and they recognize you, you don't gotta say like, oh, like they just, oh, you're a regular. Here's the regular thing.
Right.
I love that, but yeah, no, I don't think I've ever stayed in the same place like more than 2 years. Like even in Chicago, I stayed mainly on the South Side, but even on the South Side, I was on Tarrytown, one of the worst neighborhoods. Then I was on Lake Shore. From Lake Shore, then I moved to the 70s, back into the 70s, well, 79th, and 79th is... It's pretty sketch.
Little rickety.
And yeah, no, it's just wild, G. I was mainly on East Side though.
Okay. So how were you as a kid then?
A kid?
Yeah.
As a youngling.
As a younglin.
As a jit. I was a lot of things as a kid. I was mainly I mainly liked to fight as a kid, truth be told. I was big on fighting.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of bad things happen when you're a kid and you can't fight. And so a lot of bad things happen to me. But, you know, you learn how to fight and you get a few of those bad things to not happen. One of the funnier things that happened to me, well, it's funny to me. It might not be funny for the viewers. It's like that time I got in St. Louis. So like,
I don't think that's funny for anyone.
Because dude was bigger than me, but he couldn't fight. And so I beat him up. And then like he came back and he tried, but he missed. And so I beat him up again. Then he tried jumping me with his cousin, and
this is all Chicago.
No, this is St. Louis.
Oh, this is St. Louis.
This is St. Louis, Chicago. By the time I was living in Chicago, the only fights that I really had in Chicago were not worth discussing for legal purposes.
Okay, so as a kid, you were just throwing hands.
As a kid, I was, throwing hands. I was pretty creative as a kid as well. I liked drawing and stuff like that. I always knew I wanted to make games, but nobody who I was around knew anything about that. Got good grades and shit like that, but like I like keeping my childhood vague, because if you thought the LOL I got that story was tragic, gee, I could be the saddest bitch ever. Like I could be really morose in this mother. We ain't here for that. We here for some good vibes. And so I will say the childhood could have been better, but hey, I survived.
Can I ask about your household then? Were you raised in a strict household? Were you raised in a conservative? I mean, based on the giggle, I really can't even tell right now. Was it very strict? I'm going to guess very strict.
My household was, when I lived with my mother, twas an interesting household. My mother was diagnosed as schizoid, so she was prone to episodes, and so things got pretty shady quite often. She had to be like hospitalized a few times. Wasn't the best vibes, and there was one episode where like she had me in bed and like reading the Bible as she like tried to rip out my hair. That one ended when like her boyfriend of the time broke into the house and like called the police. But like again, as far as like the raising, I was mainly a latchkey kid because she was out like clubbing and such like that.
Okay, so you kind of raised yourself for a good... Was it just you by yourself, or did you have siblings? Did you guys...
I have siblings, but they're all like much older than me. Like I think the closest one is 14 years.
Okay, so were you doing a lot of raising up, which is why I'm assuming you got into a lot of these Fights.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
I wouldn't say I had the most attentive family, but I survived.
You survived. Hey, it's brought you to where you are. All right, so let's move away because I know you said you don't want to get into a little, morose conversation. So
trust me, it could get a lot darker.
Yeah, so let's keep the vibes, like you said, let's keep the vibes up. All right, so you went through a really, tough time struggling in St. Louis, right? And then you at some point moved to other places in the States.
Yeah.
Eventually you got to South Korea.
Yeah.
How? How was that transition? How did that happen?
Oh, so that's a funny story. So when I graduated from college, one of my former teachers was like, hey, yo, if you need to save up some money, go to South Korea. And I was like, that might be a move.
Yeah.
But I was teaching English in Chicago, fought a good fight for the union. We got the union. Then I had to quit that job because fun fact about adult students, they don't really understand boundaries.
I'm afraid to ask you what you mean.
One of my students tried to on me.
I want to ask, but I also don't want to ask.
Yeah.
But I'm going to ask.
Go ahead.
Can you give me a Spark Notes version of what that looked like?
All right. So long story short, being the youngest teacher on staff, I was younger than quite a few of my students. And so a few of my students thought, oh, they're young. They look like a boy. Maybe they down for a little bit of the slap and tickle. So I'm not really with all that. And I tried to keep boundaries up because I'm not trying to be on no students' things. That's not the way that it goes. That's not my team. It's not my vibe. It's not my wave.
Yeah.
And apparently that was a big thing in like teaching English for adult learners in America. Like a lot of the male teachers would students and shit.
Oh.
Not for me. Hey, those you can do that, baby. You can do that.
No one should do that. No.
No. It's not an endorsement
Let's be
for
very
me.
clear. No one should be doing this.
You should not be doing that.
No, please. Okay, but go ahead.
But it's definitely not for me.
All right,
I'm
so she came
emphasizing.
on to you because you were younger and, like you said, male appearing, and so that's what she thought. Okay, so let's move away from that conversation.
Yeah.
And you got to Korea because you said your professor at the time suggested to go to Korea to save money.
Yeah. So actually, I stopped teaching after that, and I worked at a retail store for a bit. It's funny. I'm mixing my real life in with like the Duncan mythology because Duncan never did all of that. My real self did all of that. Duncan was a pro wrestling name.
Oh, so is your real name not Duncan?
No.
Bro, why is everyone telling me their real names are not what they've been telling me their real names are? Happy?
I have never said that Duncan was my real name.
I know, but I guess the assumption. Okay. All right. Sorry. Go ahead. Duncanology.
So anyway, the backstory on Duncan is that I needed to pick a new name because my old wrestling name, Santiago, the Blazing Hippie, well, that character had run its course. And so I had went by Logan for a little bit, but
I like Logan.
Logan's So I was like, let me think. And I came up with Logan. And then I said, nah, I want to do Logan. So I was like, Duncan. And I was like, hey, yo, Duncan Solaire. Hey, let's get it. Because it just seemed like a fitting name for what I was doing with the character who was like in Chicago. I was like a black militant. I was like super woke. Like, hey, yo, brother. This is around the time where Black Lives Matter was first popping up, but like the St. Louis version of Black Lives Matter was what was really picking up.
Okay.
Oh man, not to be on my conspiracy team, but like the original incarnation of Black Lives Matter, man, God tier.
Top tier.
It's like the Black Panthers, and it's like the original incarnation of Black Lives Matter.
The OG Black Lives Matter. Okay.
They was next level with it. But yeah, so I was a little bit on some shit like that. But after some time doing retail, some time wrestling in Chicago and stuff like that, I had enough money saved up, and I really needed to decide what I was going to do. And I bit the bullet and I just flew out. And like, truth be told, I thought I was going to be on some dry dick Andy. I'm going to just be a lonely little queer in Korea. I was going to blitz learning Korean so I could actually, like make friends and stuff. But I was sure they was going to stick me out in the fucking boonies. And no, they stuck my ass.
So you came through as a teacher?
Came through as a teacher,
okay.
Yes.
And where'd they stick you? I'm sorry.
The first place I lived was Anyang or Anyang. Yeah. After that, I moved to Yongin, and then I lived in Yongtong, and then I lived in Suwon, and then I lived in Dongtan, and then
we've lived in the same cities. That's so crazy. It's just now meeting. Yeah.
That's really crazy.
Uh-huh.
And now I live in Shincheon.
Shincheon. Okay. Oh, good. That's a good location.
Yeah.
That's like center everything.
Yeah.
All right. So you were moving all around. Were you teaching the entire time when you're naming these cities?
Until I got to Dongtan. Like Dongtan's where I finally got to stop teaching and I got to be an actor.
Dongtan. Okay. So you were teaching for all these years. How did you like teaching in Korea?
Boy, teaching in Korea, not like that as like,
yeah.
Teaching in Korea is like a really eye-opening experience. You really get to see like good students progress and become like even better. I had quite a few students who I was like very much an eye-opening experience for them. And so I was really proud of that. I have like quite a few proud moments from teaching my kids and stuff like that. Some of them include like this the little kindergartner. Her name was Gracia, and I like taught her.
Oh, that's a cute name.
Taught her English and Spanish with her Korean, so she was able to like introduce herself in 3 different languages before she could like
even understand like, real. She was so. Gracia's a cute name.
Yeah, she was amazing. Loved her. I had a few other students, one of whom became an animator. Like he came out to me as trans, and he was like, I was the reason.
Ooh.
And I was like.
Here?
Yes.
Korean?
Yes.
Wow.
Boy came out as trans. I was like,
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to, we're going to eventually touch on that topic, but let me move on. So you were teaching, you enjoyed it, but then you said you moved from teaching to acting.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it, but I was burnt out of it.
Yeah, of course.
How's acting been? Acting's been up and down, truth be told. It's been a wild one, truth be told, because like I do enjoy performing. I really, really love performing. It's the same thing that's the problem with like teaching. I hate everything that goes on outside of it, you know? Like I like doing the job, getting my money and being like, deuces, you silly gooses.
Right.
I hate having to like argue with people about like basic humanity and shit like that, you know? It's like, I'm not asking for moon. I'm asking for you to not pay me like minimum wage to do maximum work, my G.
Right.
It's the classic conundrum between worker and owner though, because like the owners here, especially in like teaching and shit, they know they got most of their people over a barrel and shit like that. But in acting, it's even worse in my experience. It's like a lot of people really love like finessing. One of the agencies just went out of business because like the owner, the CEO just like disappeared on them with all the money. It's just like, I hate shady shit, you know?
So can I ask what visa you're on then?
I am on an E6.
You are E6?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think being on an E6 visa is worth it in your opinion? Like, are you feeling like you're able to sustain yourself out here on that? Because you have to hustle. Like, you know, the money doesn't come to you like an E2.
Yeah, no.
Is it worth it?
Gun to my head, for me, I like it.
Okay.
But I'm also like subsidized because I be out here with my partner and she be helping me out, keeping the bills paid and shit.
Got it.
Like, truth be told, gun to my head, yo, if I was like strictly on my own, I would have been starving.
Yeah. So you live with someone and you share the finances, which would help. Yeah. Which would help a lot.
Yeah, no, I'll say like, and keep in mind, I even saved up before I got on this. Like, I saved up. I was like, yo, this finna be Gucci. I ain't even got to worry about nothing. Yeah. I'm so used to being poor. I was like, yo, the budget finna be toit. My game, I just sold that. I'm gonna have a nice little amount of American money coming in. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm
it slowly started to trickle down to I need someone to live with me. So we're going to segue because you are, like you said, an entertainer.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I saw on your videos was you do drag. You do drag shows.
Yeah.
So you went from teaching to acting. Now acting, how the heck did you get into being a drag, can I say drag queen? Is that the official?
Drag
okay.
Queen. I'm drag queen.
Or queen of drag, as RuPaul said on Jimmy Fallon.
So
how did you do that?
Well, I used to be a wrestler. And so
okay.
when I was wrestling, I used to go to this one bar up the street called Rabbit Hole.
We love Rabbit Hole
We
here.
love Rabbit Hole.
Yes.
Shout outs to the Hole.
Shout out.
Anyway, so I used to perform. I used to like do wrestling shows there. I was there one night, and one of the performers, shouts out to my sister, she needs a woman, was like organizing. She wanted to organize something for Juneteenth. And she was like, but I need more Black drag queens because she's British. And so
that's like, a British accent?
No.
Can I hear that one more time?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I'm not doing accents.
You
not
know.
for free, baby.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. So your sister said, we need more
she
Black
said, I need
drag
a bottle of
queens.
water.
Oh, there you go. All right. Go ahead.
Anyway, no, she said, we need more Black drag queens. And I was like, hey, yo, I got you. I had never done drag up until that point.
Oh, so your first time was here?
First time was here.
Okay.
Because I was helping out a friend, and I've been trying to do my best in it ever since.
Okay, so is it just that you like to perform? You don't care what you're doing. It's just you love to perform because wrestling is a performance. Drag queen is a performance. Is that
wrestling is just drag for like
men?
I mean, there are women who do wrestling as
predominantly men.
Yeah, but like if you look at like old wrestling and shit, that shit's basically drag.
That's right, because you're wearing all the. You know what? Now that you say that. That's facts. And I don't want the wrestling community to come for me or come for
me, baby.
No, don't come for me because that's
Leave it
facts.
in the comment section.
Okay, so did you find it easy then to go from wrestling to drag if you think drag is just a different version of wrestling?
I think wrestling's a different version of drag.
Oh, okay.
I would say that the performance part there's a lot of parts that you can overlay. I would not necessarily say that it's a one-to-one though, but there are other wrestling drag queens like around the world. But there are people who wrestle in drag. There are people who are drag queen wrestlers. There's a whole lot of things. But for me, as a wrestler and then as a queer person and as a performer, I wanted to do drag. I wanted to help my friend. And so I was like, hey, yo, here's an opportunity. So I don't say I was just doing it because I like to perform. I was doing it because I can perform.
Right.
And I wanted to help my friend.
Okay.
And I also wanted to see what, performing drag was going to be like.
How is that
was
here?
Fun.
How is performing drag in South Korea?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Like, at least in my experience, like I don't have any complaints so far. Aside from like, I need to get more shows, but that's just a hustle thing. You know what I mean? Like I get more venues, then I can, perform more things. But like the queens I know, when I'm talking to them, they're always nice to me. The kings I know, they're always nice. The things I know, they're always nice because there's drag queens and things and kings and shouts out to them all, G.
Can I ask a question?
What up?
I don't know anything about the drag world at all. What is the difference between clearly I know what a drag queen and king is. What is a drag thing?
Oh, all right. So there's this amazing performer, Spence Her. They're a drag thing and they're a beast. And so like a drag thing, it can be just a non-binary performer, but it can also be like a fucking creature. And there's so many drag performers that like take drag and mold it into like what they want it to be.
Right.
And so drag things are
anything they want.
Are basically drag is anything you want to be because you got like glam queens and then you've got like monster queens and you got kings that do all kinds of shit. So it's just a matter of like what the performer wants to do. But yeah, like the drag things that I've known have all they've either been gender fluid or non-binary or just queer or whatever they want to identify as, but they've always been ready to serve a performance. And like, I think the drag things that I've met have been pretty stellar, truth be told.
So how is that? How do you feel like you can be in South Korea? Because we all know South Korea is very conservative. How do you feel that they're accepting of that community? My
first night in South Korea, I ended up sleeping with a Korean. I don't know about the conservatism because people be going in this country. Like I do understand like politically and socially they present as conservative, but people be going very easily. As far as like as far as like existing, I got a fun story from just yesterday. I was in my skirt with my knee-high socks on and my Vans because my Chucks is they need a little repair. Your girl was out here looking fishy as she can. If anybody calls me clocky in the comment section, listen. I'm fish. I am not trade. I know I'm dressed like a boy. I am not trade. I am fish, and you will let a bitch live. But anyway, back to my story. I'm fully in girl mode yesterday, right? And this mom and her little boy, they're over here just waving and saying hi and shit. You know, people are generally polite and nice and shit. Like, I don't know if it's like I'm a little bulky and some motherfuckers is like, oh, I don't know about that. Or it's just that like I don't give off the energy of like weakness and something like that. But like I get more attention for being black than I do for being queer and shit like that.
Okay.
And I'm openly both. So like if a person got a problem with one, they're gonna get smoke with the other. But like, how do I exist? I kind of exist with like chip on my shoulder, but like a smile on my face. So it's like, if you want it, you can get it, but you don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. Like, I try to be nice, but like if somebody wants that action, they'll get that action.
I know right now you said you look like Trans the Rapper, but I didn't know that you dressed
Trans the Rapper.
Did I say Trans the Rapper? Oh crap! If I did, I'm sorry.
Oh my God, Trans the Rapper. Let's get it. Shout outs.
Miane, I thought I said Chance the Rapper, not Trans the Rapper. Please don't come for me, community. I don't want that beef. Okay. Okay. But you do say you dress in more feminine.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
I be on my girly shit like most of the time. I had some really cute photos back when I was wrestling.
Yeah.
With one of the titles that I won. Girl was looking fish as.
Like I said, I don't know anything about drag, but we're going to play a quick game of like a drag game. I'm going to tell you exactly what we're going to do.
Okay.
I want you to think of me. What would you make my drag name be in Korea? Because we're Korea based at the moment. I want you to come up right now with your drag name for me now that you've met me. And I'm going to do the same for you because I actually don't even know your drag name. All right. And then we're going to show the camera. I'm like, I don't even know. Shoot. Okay, so 5 more seconds.
No.
Oh, okay. 15 seconds. 15
right.
on the clock. I hate this name. I'm so sorry. You deserve better. I can't. 3, 2, 1. Please. What? Lady in Black? Okay, mine says D Solo Mo. I actually hate this, and I had time to think about it. D clearly for Duncan, Solo Mo, because you're from
my
Missouri.
name's Seraphim.
What?
Yeah, my drag name is Seraphim.
All right, next, I want you to think of the song that would play as my coming out drag song. What song would you use as my like, she's coming out Korea in drag? And I'm going to think of I think a good drag song for you. Oh, I think this is the name of the song. 4, 3, 2, 1. Bang. What does that say?
Surprise by Chloe Bailey.
Oh, I don't know that song. I love Chloe Bailey, but I don't know that one. I put Glorilla and Meg. I think the name of the song is Wannabe. Is that the name? I love that song. I think that would be a fire one. Okay. All right. I'm going to do, what would be my signature slogan? Like, you know how the housewives have like, you know what I'm talking about.
I no idea what you're talking about.
No? All right. Have you ever seen like the Real Housewives of blah, blah, blah?
No.
Jeez. Okay.
I'm gonna.
Okay. So your slogan is basically like, hi, I'm Keeds and I'm like the baddest bee in town. Basically, you know, like what your little tagline would be. What would be my tagline?
Okay.
Oh, I should have thought about this. You deserve so much more than what I'm giving you right now. Show it. Is yours, what does that say?
I said 10 of Keeds is the only 10 you'll see.
I don't even want to show mine. Mine's terrible. Bussing all the things. I literally, I couldn't think of anything. Because you said he used to like throw hands. So like, you know, bussing.
Bussing.
Sheesh.
Is you.
All right. Now moving on to your rapid fire questions, Duncan, we are going to start off a little bit lighter, like lighter questions area, and then we're going to go on to maybe more deeper questions. You said you like to discuss movies. Isn't that what you said at the beginning?
Yes.
What's your favorite go-to movie you're going home you want to sit down and watch?
Friday.
That's my favorite can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Please don't leave it. Okay. That's my favorite comedy of all time. I love Friday.
Comedy. It's a perfect comedy.
All right. What about your movie to watch when you're in your feels?
Ooh. I've had to change it because actors keep getting canceled all the time. Fuck me. If I had to pick a movie for like when I'm in my feels, I don't know. Gun to my head, just give me like Mononoke.
Don't know that one. Dang,
Princess Mononoke? It's a Studio Ghibli.
That.
Yeah.
See, that's the second time someone said a sad movie. I had no idea. All right. What is your phobia or fear? Your top phobia?
Top phobia?
Yeah. What is it?
No, my top fear, I have to remember that I'm not in like a completely gay space, so I can't be like, I'm homophobic.
You kind of are.
Listen.
It's a safe space. It's a safe space. It's a safe space.
Listen. Anyway, no, for real. Probably my biggest phobia is like thalassophobia.
What is that?
Fear of the deep sea.
That's a fear. That's a fact. I can understand that. Especially
or fear
after
of cold. Yeah, fear of cold is also
no, the
funny.
deep sea is a good one. What is the most memorable concert or live performance you've ever seen?
So there was this performer. She goes by Drea the Vibe Dealer. And like, fun fact, when I first started wrestling in Korea, they were calling me the Vibe Dealer because I bought one of her shirts and I came out performing in Seoul in it. Yeah. I would say Drea the Vibe Dealer was probably...
Drea the Vibe Dealer. Okay,
yeah.
I don't know
Shouts
that
out to
performer.
the Chicago legend, Drea the Vibe Dealer.
Okay, that's a good one.
Big cousin of Shmino, if you ever heard of him.
Don't know Shmino.
Oh, well.
Maybe I'm out of the pocket of the fun things. All right, what do you think is the best advice you've ever received?
Best advice I've ever received. I don't know. It's a toss up because like I get different like bits of advice that I use like all the time. I guess like the general one I got was like, you don't make no money like making people who hate you like you, so don't worry about it. It's like
that's a good one.
Yeah, I don't really waste time on like people who aren't worth like dealing with.
Yeah.
Especially in like the digital age, like
right.
If I can hit a button and you can't talk to me anymore, I'm just gonna
hit that block button. Utilize that block button. Okay, now we're gonna get to the deeper ones. How do you deal with any hardships that come your way?
I turn on some Earl Sweatshirt or Tyler the Creator, and then I drink a little bit, and then I cuddle up with my boo thing.
Okay.
And do some things, some adult things.
We don't need to go into detail as to what those adult things are. I think we can
watching sad movies, duh.
Of course. What is the most important lesson you learned thus far in your life?
Most important lesson I've learned is it's better to get something finished than to get something perfect. Especially like as a writer and as a game dev, like the perfectionism that is like ingrained in just innate in me is like, no, it's got to be perfect, but
It's never going to be perfect.
It's never going to be perfect.
All right. So this is the last question. All right. What is an idea or belief that's changed your mind about over the years? Like, what did you used to think at one point and then you've grown and now you're like, oh, I don't think that at all anymore.
I used to be pretty liberal. I used to believe that if you just told the right amount of truth to the right people, that the world would change for the better. As I've gotten older, I've learned that the value of truth is dependent on the audience, and people will oftentimes choose a comfortable lie over a hard truth. And materialism is definitely something that I use in my daily life when assessing like politics, media, or just about anything. So I don't really like delve too deep into like public reaction to something if the truth of the something is something that would make people uncomfortable. I typically just hold my tongue because like, what's the point of getting into argument when 90 people are going to tell you you're wrong because they heard something on like Discovery Channel that was pop science as opposed to like real fact.
Right. Ooh, that's a good one. All right. Thank you so much, Duncan. Those are great answers. And now we're in the wrap up. So Duncan, look in that camera, that camera, that camera. Let the people know, where can they find you? Do you have anything going on? And now is your time. Go.
Hey, yo, so it's DUNCAN. You can follow me on Solar Vibes on Instagram, or you can look me up on YouTube at DunSoulVA for my voice acting clips. It's mainly just me having fun and shit posting on there. But hey, if you want my professional stuff, just look for commercials, because I'm in a few of those voice acting.
Okay, shout out.
Ting, ting, ting. Aside from that, though, you can always find me publishing online under various different names. I got like 20 of them. So fun fact.
Okay.
My current legacy on Wikipedia is for a Dragon Ball Z article, dead ass. Under my real name, my real name is linked to a fucking Dragon Ball Z article.
That's not a bad thing to be linked to.
My stomach.
Is that
anyway? Sickening. But yeah, no. Follow me at Solar Vibes if you want to see more from me. I don't be online like I used to be no more though, but you can still see what I'm posting about.
Thank you so much, Duncan, for joining me today. It was a pleasure. And as always, you can find me at the Sobe Pod, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Awesome.
Also, sorry for killing the mood with the story, but you asked.
Killing the mood?
Yeah, you know, with the.
You didn't kill the mood.
You sure? Because.
But you know what? The podcast is not meant to just be like high energy 24/7. That's not what this podcast is about at all.
15
on the clock.
15 on the clock. All
yeah.
Right. What's the name that I would give you?
I think mine's actually terrible. I'm so sorry. I knew what the question was going to be, and I still can't. Oh, this is terrible. Okay, 5 seconds on the clock. I hate this name. I'm so sorry. You deserve better. I can't.